Hello learners, today we are going to discuss BPC 145 Block 4 Areas of Counseling. So in this we'll see Unit 11, 12 and 13. Today we are going to discuss about all three units. So first in Unit 11, we'll discuss about the school and career counseling. So what we are going to discuss in this unit, school counseling, scope of school counseling in India, career counseling, theories of career counseling, and career counseling in India. So it will basically help you in guiding or counseling any students in the school. So what is school counseling? School counseling addresses the needs and concerns of all school students. Vocational counseling was considered as school counseling earlier, and now it is used to address the psychological needs of school-going children. And schools facilitates the growth and development of growing children. So we all know this. So school counseling in that way very important. So what is the role of a counselor? So there are various roles of the counselor in school. So you can work at educative functions, reactive functions, welfare functions, promotes developments, ameliorates precipitating factors, and facilitates achieving career goals. So what is the educative functions? So counselor educate the students, parents, and the institute, that is school, about the various aspects of child learning and development. Then reactive functions means if there is anything required, so counselor has to react and work in this direction. Counselor has to work for the welfare of the students. So students should be the main focus for the counselor. So the welfare related must be related to the students. It promotes development in almost all areas, not only in educational areas, only study. It is like the development should be in each and every area: sports activities, creative activities, personality wise, thinking wise, emotional wise, how to express emotion, control emotions. All these things should be the under purview of a school counselor. And there might be, like in the school setup, there might be certain factors which may lead to poor mental health, which may lead to development of substance use in the adolescent or children. So the role of the counselor is to work as a preventive measure and to understand what could be the precipitating factors and to work on those precipitating factors. And then when they grow and when they are in 9th, 10th or 11th, 12th, so that time career goals, the counselor helps in deciding career goals to the students. So, scope of school counseling. So it offers a comprehensive program for all school students. American School Counselor Association, academic achievement, career planning, personal and social development. So these are the three main scope of the school counselor was decided by American School of Counselor Association. But unfortunately in India, there are no structured programs, though NCRT is running as guidance and counseling program. And there are other universities which run, but most of these programs are theoretical programs. So skill-based programs are required in our country also for school counselor. So let us see, because the education system in our country is at three stages, like elementary school, that is you can say the primary school, elementary stage, then middle school up to class 8 or 9, 10, and then higher school class 9 and 10, then higher secondary, senior secondary school, that is 10 and 12. So at each stage the need of the students are different. So counselor must be aware about those needs. So what counselor can do at elementary stage, so can smooth transition from home to school. Because most of the children, they are not very comfortable when they first time sent to school. But nowadays, like they are in playway school or crèche, so they are used to. But still, some children having problem. So counselor help in this transition. Like the child is home, and tomorrow onwards he has to go to school. So counselor understand the need of the students, the child, and the family to prevent school dropping. What happens if the child is not very good in study or not very bright student, so he or she may find the subject very difficult. So, and if the teachers, if they are pressurizing the child for homework and other things, so the child finds it too tough and they avoid going to school. That could be the one reason. Another reason could be the child is engaged in certain other activities and not interested in school or study. Third thing, due to like in our country, it is very common due to financial reason, poverty. The parents generally engage the child in certain work, so they do not go to school. They drop from the school. So this is the job of the counselor to understand all these phenomena and to help the child to continue the schooling, providing assistance to disadvantaged ones. So there are different ways of disadvantage. Like you can see that like some of the children are poor, some of the children are having specific learning disability, some of the children are from very deprived background, economic or social background. Some of the children are coming from the background which are having lots of stigma associated with the caste, religion, or culture or gender. So all these disadvantages, one or some students are handicapped, we can use the word differently able children. So generally they basically avoid the school, or it is very difficult to go to the school. So this is the job of the counselor to provide all assistance. For example, if their parents are very poor and child is helping the parents in earning, so if the child is sent to school, so their earning will be less. So how this less earning will be compensated? So all these things will be discussed and brought into the notice by the counselor. Helping children with special needs, and then, like as I told you, for example, visually impaired children or specific learning children, then facilitates acquisition of basic learning skills. Basic learning skills are very important. If the child is not very good, so then he may lose the interest in study. So this is the job of the counselor to help the child to acquire the basic learning skills, reading skills, writing skills, calculative skills, calculation, all these things. So learning different life skills. So still in our country, except few metros, the life skill teaching is less. Like earlier in older, um, like earlier era, when the guru chela relationship was there, though the students, those who wants to study, they go to the gurukul. So in those systems, the like it was not only study there, everything will be everything was taught in those gurukuls. But now only study. Maximum students are, or the schools, they're focusing on the improving the study skills. But life skills are very much required, which needs to be there. Otherwise, it will be difficult for the child to live a happy life when he grows up. So, what are the life skills? So, life skills are like critical thinking, creative thinking, then problem solving, then expressing emotions appropriately. So there are various types of life skills. So child must be taught all those life skills. So what is the best model of teaching life skills to children? So these life skills should be included in the curriculum. So teachers should be trained in delivering life skills. So it should not be like a, boring things for the children, and they learn it very happily. So then awareness about the world of work. So lots of things should be required, then building healthy perceptions among the teachers, students and parents. So sometimes the teachers, they like, they get bad like he is not, or the student is not interested in study, so why to put more effort on this student? So all those perceptions can be. So now I have visited several schools in Delhi, and I found that now the teachers are very much aware, and they take care of all those needs. Counseling at secondary stage. So here the role of the counselor is to help to adjust with certain changes in their physical growth and development. You all know that at this stage, child has certain physical growth or changes. For example, mouth stage or arm. So here growing on the body, on different parts of the body, the change in the voice, breast development in the girls. So all these developments, changes in the mood. So some of the children, they may not, or adolescent may not be adjusted with, or may not feel very comfortable with these changes. So this is the job of the counselor to discuss all those things. Dealing with emotional changes, forming a healthy peer relationship, like this is very important. Like the students should know that they are classmates, and they should maintain the relationship in a healthy manner, not too much emotional involvement and not too much aloofness. Adjusting to the academic pressure. So at this stage, lots of academic pressure is there, because they have to decide about their future career and other things, and facilitating the relationship between a student and their parents. So sometimes lots of issues crops up with the parents and the students between, due to their adolescent stage, because adolescent stage is the very stressful stage. So lots of issues crops up: adjustment, emotional, financial. So this is the job of the counselor, to discuss all those issues and helping to understand their inner strength. So sometimes some of the students, they are suffering from inferiority feeling. Okay, they are having low self-esteem. So this is the job of the counselor, to work on those things and help the child to find out their inner strengths. Counseling at the higher secondary stage, dealing with the academic pressure to get good marks and pass successfully. Nowadays, lots of pressure on the student to score more than 90% or 95%. So the counselor's job is to help the student to bear this pressure, and then getting into good college and courses to study. This is again key. If you want to get good marks, it will be very difficult nowadays. At the time of study, like they are doing 11th, 12th, at the same time they are going for coaching also, to preparing for engineering, medical or some other courses. So lots of study pressure is there on the students. Enhancing self understanding, so this is the most important thing. Each and every student should understand their weakness and their strength, so they should understand themselves. So but most of the time they don't have such insight. So this is the counselor's job, to help the student in understanding such thing. Developing career maturity and making realistic career choices. So understanding the child's strength, and then accordingly advising him for the realistic career choices. So learning to handle negative peer pressure. Sometimes like lots of peer pressure for smoking, for taking alcohol, for certain other antisocial activities. So, in and during the life skill training, these things must be taught to the children. Assertiveness training, we call it, how to assert, how to say no, how to manage this peer pressure. Rather than getting angry, the child can say easily, you are my good friend. I consider you all my friends. So, but if you pressurize, it will be very difficult for me to continue with you. So such type of way can be taught to the children or adolescents so they can manage peer pressure. Coping skills to handle stress. So most of the time, when there is a high stress, students use maladaptive coping skills. So this is very important to teach them healthy coping skills. For example, if they have to study late till night, so they will have coffee or tea in the night. So it's not so the job is to teach them healthy skills, healthy coping skills. Sexual maturity and responsibility. So this is again very important at this stage. Some of the children are having tendency to experiment. So they must be taught about this. They must be given information about the sex, and then other pregnancy, then sexually transmitted infections, HIV/AIDS. All these things should be uh, taught to the students. They should be taking proper precaution. But the best thing is to avoid such things at this stage. And but still they want to experiment. The safety measures must be used, like they must be taught about the masturbation and other things. Create life goals and vision. So what they want to become in their life: doctor, engineer, chartered accountant, a good human being, whatever they want to, teacher. So all these things must be discussed. So if the counselor is available at the school, so it will be very easy for the children. It will be very helpful for the children and parents, and for the organization also, school also, to understand and address all these needs of the children, adolescents. Let us see the counseling, school counseling in our country. So yes, there is a recognition of the importance of guidance and counseling in schools. There is a provision also that all the schools should have a counselor, though it is not still not there, but the rules are there. So first education commission, Mudliar Commission, was formed in 52-53, and the Central Bureau of Educational and Vocational Guidance was formed in 1954. Kothari Commission was formed in 64 to 66, and then National Policy of Education came in 1986, and the National Policy on Education in 2020. So there it means it shows that government is working in this direction, and there are rules already, but there is a little problem in implementations. Some of the schools are implementing, some of the states are implementing, some of the states are still in the process of implementing these things. So that's why if you see the availability of the counselor in schools, many states they do not have counselors in majority of their schools. Even if they are there, so this is very funny thing. Even if they are there, so they are engaged in teaching only, because if there is no teacher, so they have to go and teach. So most of the time they are in classroom for teaching some subject. So coming to career counseling, career career is a means a path over the lifespan of an individual. What type of career the person can decide. So, but it is basically work and leisure. It's not that only you have to work. And job means a specific task to earn money. Occupation means a group of similar job. So these are the terms generally used. Goals of career counseling: developing awareness about careers and skills training, then dissemination of the career information or career data, conducting psychological testing to help the child in deciding which subject or which branch he or she can take. Counseling parents and family members about the child's strengths and weaknesses, helping special needs children, help in adopting career plans, and facilitating achieving and executing plans. Structure of career counseling. So the main first thing is problem identification. What is the problem? So the job of career counselor is to identify the problem, then clarification of those problems, then specification of this problem, then client goal or problem resolution. So how the problem can be solved. Let us see the theories of career counseling. So there are various trait and factor theory, six categories of personality. They have talked about like realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. So according to this personality type, the particular career can be decided by the mutual discussion between the counselor and the student and parents. So let us see the trait and factor theory. So what is realistic? Prefer practical hands-on physical activities with tangible results, building, fixing and repairing things or working outside. Investigating is prefer to solve abstract problems involving science or engineering. Artistic means prefer unstructured situations involving self-expression of ideas and concepts through different artistic medium. Then social prefer direct service or helping opportunities involving advising, counseling, coaching, mentoring, teaching, etc. Enterprising prefer business situations involving persuasion, selling, influence, enthusiastic, energetic, assertive, and self-confident. And conventionalists prefer structured business situations involving data analysis, finance, planning, and organizational tasks. So you can understand which type of personality may fit into which type of profession or job. Let us see the developmental theories. Super has given 5 stages of vocational development: growth, that is birth to 14 years, exploration 14 to 24 years, establishment 24 to 44 years, maintenance 44 to 64 years, decline 64 and above and more. Social cognitive career theory. So based on the Albert and Bandura's general social cognitive theory, and Lent, Brown, and Hackett further improved this theory. So this theory talks about self-efficacy. So efficacy beliefs. So self-efficacy basically is a subjective perception about oneself that the person can manage the situation or not. So if the person is confident, his self-efficacy may be high. If the person is not confident or had failure in past, so his self-efficacy may be down. So outcome expectations. So if the student they think the outcome will be positive, so they put more energy. Suppose they think they may get more than 90% marks, so they will study more. But when they think even though they work hard, they will not get more than 60% or 50%, so they will study less. And then goal. So goal also motivate the students to achieve it. Constructivist theory, like deriving meaning in one's career, helps the client in understanding and interpreting the life themes of that client and based on the self concept. So here like more emphasis on the self exploration. So factors influencing lack of awareness, like family decisions, preference of being in safer zone, attitude towards job security, poor risk taking, glorifying few careers. So this is even though the student doesn't have numerical skills or very good in mathematics or physics, parents want him to be engineer. because they think engineering is a very glorifying career. Then, so sometimes, like parents think career should be decided on the basis of the availability of the job. So they ask their children to take only those subjects which will help him to finding out the government job. So job security is a big concern in our India. So National Institute for Career Services, their Central Institute for Research and Training and Employment Service, Director General of Employment, Ministry of Labor Employment, National Council of Educational Research and Training. These all are working in this field. So now let us see the Unit 12, Couple and Family Counseling. So what we are going to discuss in couple and family counseling. So we'll see that why there is a need for couple and family counseling, nature, scope, and goals of couple and family counseling, key concepts in couple and family counseling, developmental models of family life, techniques used in couple and family counseling theoretical approaches and therapy. So let us see the first need. Shifting from traditional patriarchal family types to diverse types. So there is a change in the family structure. Earlier big joint family, now extended family or nuclear family. Increased life expectancy. Now people are living more than 90 years of age. And defined roles of women in society is also changed, and then issue related to child rearing practices are also changing. Problems in sexual relationships, abusive relationship, dysfunctional family status due to substance use and related disorders. So all these things require couple or family counseling. As I told you, there are various types of family. Nuclear family means only husband and wife staying together with their children. Joint family, if the couple staying with their parents or brothers, sisters, single parent family where the only father is there or mother is there, like divorced mother with child. A foster family, then double income and no kids family. Both are working, but there are no kids in the family. Dual career family, they work, taking, they are joined two jobs in the morning, in the evening. Aging family, like old age parents staying alone, and gay or lesbian family in some countries. So goals of couple and family counseling is to give equal opportunity to both partners to express themselves, to identify problems and their nature, to facilitate the resolution of conflict and problems, to foster confidence, respect, trust, and attachment, to understand family dynamics, roles of family members, and problem solving behavior and coping skills. So let us see the key concepts in couple and family counseling. Double bind, giving two messages to an individual which are related but contradictory to each other. Marital schism and marital skew, then generally earlier it was um, understood that these are the factors which are responsible for genesis of schizophrenia or psychosis in the family. Pseudo mutuality, they are not mutual, but they show that they are mutual, feedback linear or circulatory. So equifinality, like the same destination can be reached by taking different paths. For example, stability in relationships. So homeostasis, maintenance of an equilibrium to establish a steady state within the system. System is family system. Communication, verbal and non-verbal messages exchanged within the family. Family rules. Some implicate and explicit some implicit and explicit regulations to be followed by the members. So these are called rules. non-written rules, and non-summativity. Like whole is more than the sum of its part. For example, family problems must be understood in terms of all members rather than an individual. So suppose in a family one person is taking substance use, so it is not only his problem, it is a family problem. Morphogenesis, adapting to new situations by changing the family's functioning. So let us see the developmental model of family life. So 9 stage family life cycle given by Beckover and Beckware. Unmatched adults, stage emotional issues, stage critical task. So unmatched adults, accepting parents, adult offspring relationship, differentiation from family of origin, development of peer relationship, initiation of career. Newly married couple, commitment to marriage, and then formation of marital system, making room for a spouse with family and friends. Childbearing family. So, accepting new members into the system, adjusting marriage to make room, taking parenting role, making room for grandparents. Preschool as family, accepting new personality, adjusting family to needs of each child, coping with energy drain and lack of privacy. School age child family, allowing child to establish relationship outside the family, and critical tasks are extending family intersections with society, encouraging educational achievements. Teenage youths, like increasing flexibility of family boundaries, and the tasks are shifting parent-child relationship to balance freedom and limits, and refocusing on midlife career. Launching centers, like accepting exits and entries from the family. Like after the marriage, some of the children they move out from the family, or when they are going for higher study to abroad or somewhere else. Maintain a supportive home base, releasing adult children into work or college, middle-aged parents, letting go and facing each other again, rebuilding marriage, realigning family, dealing with aging, and retirement. Accepting retirement, adjusting to retirement or old age, coping with death or parents and spouse, closing or adapting family home, supportive middle generation. Now let us see the techniques used in couple and family counseling, behavioral exchange, effective communication skills, reframing. Uh, these things can be discussed in detail when the other techniques of psychotherapy can be discussed. Problem solving skills, expressing care and appreciation, family sculpting, family choreography, family floor plan, family photos, family council meeting, and balancing. So, general system theory, let us see the theoretical approach in family therapy. So, Ludwig von Bertalanffy, they say in human are living system. According to this theory, they are part of several systems. Like within the family, also there are subsystems, and humans can influence other systems and can be influenced by them also, family as a whole, and emphasis on communication pattern. So this general systems theory talks about this, whereas ecological system theory talks about microsystem within the family, like a setting or context in which the child lives, for example parents, sibling, etc. Mesosystem, like interaction between the microsystem and exosystem, for example interaction between family and school. Exosystem, systems outside the primary system of the family, such as family relatives, school, other institutions. Macrosystem, larger systems such as political, economy, law, and culture. And the chronosystem, like real-time dimensions in which the other four systems operates. So let us see the Murray Bones intergenerational family therapy. So the key concepts are enmeshment, differentiation, and emotional cutoff. So differentiation of self, triangulation, enmeshment, emotional cutoff. So what is differentiation of self? It's like achieving independence or separation from other family members at an emotional and intellectual level. Then triangulation is a situation where another member in the family, usually of lower position in family hierarchy, to lower the stress level. Enmeshment means diffusion of boundaries between the family members. Emotional cutoff, the opposite of enmeshment, like creation of physical and emotional boundaries. So the major goal is to increase differentiation of self, to establish healthy emotional boundaries among the family members, so no one feels suffocated, to reduce the overall discomfort in managing relationship among members. So Salvador Minuchin structural family therapy talks about family is a system. Family members indicate existing rigidity and flexibility within the family structure. And some key concepts are family structure. Salvador talked about the family structure, boundary permeability, and alliances and coalitions. And the goal of this family counseling is like understanding family structure, supporting parental subsystem, and to re-establish power hierarchy. Studying techniques are like family mapping, enactment, accommodating, and joining. Counseling techniques are unbalancing, like there might be balance not there, so intensifying and reframing. Reframing is a technique basically, whatever is there in the family, you are putting it in a different way. Like a photo is there in the frame, you just twist the frame. So photo is same, everything is same, you are just reframing. So Virginia Satir's transformational system theory talks about emotion-based and change-directed approach. It is based on humanistic process or experiential approach to counseling. It established importance of congruent communication pattern, focus on development of self-worth and self-esteem, and problem lies in the ways of coping. So this theory talks about the more emphasis on the coping. The way we cope, the problem may be there, may not be there. Hal is strategic family therapy. It is like directive problem solving approach. Interactions reflect power within a relationship. More emphasis on problem solution, less emphasis on insight. Symptoms represent communication patterns. And techniques use a straightforward task and paradoxical tasks. Let us see the unit 13, counseling at workplace. This is also very important. Some of the counselors, they work in industries or some big corporate organizations. So they have to counsel there. So what we are going to discuss in this unit, workplace counseling, history of workplace counseling, models of workplace counseling, purpose of workplace counseling, challenges, future scope, workplace in India. So what is workplace counseling? Work is any activity with a goal to achieve a result. In Freudian terms, work is the harness that controls the forces of unconscious desires, wishes, impulses, and motivation. But that is like psychoanalytic way of talking about the work. However, a workplace that is a specific location or space where an individual works to produce capital for oneself or for others or for his family. So, what are the some key terms in workplace counseling? Socio-technical system, open system, political system, organizational culture, survival culture, corporate abuse, workplace bullying. So we'll discuss in this. So let us see the history of workplace counseling. So it's like first documented proof the Western Electric USA company. So formally introduced to organizations in 1940s and 50s. For example, Alcoholic Anonymous as an employee assistance program. So it was seen that those who are abusing drugs or alcohol, their productivity is less. They are more absent. They are not punctual in jobs. So overall, it affects the overall productivity of the organization. So they have started this program, Alcoholic Anonymous. So it basically all recovered patients they meet together to remain abstinent. So even though like the organization give them 2 hours leave every week without cutting their salary, without reducing the salary, they it's beneficial for the organization because their productivity has is increased due to this. The four stages of history of workplace counseling: disease stage, client centered stage, employee work stage, company as a client stage. So, what is disease stage? So where the workers were considered as they are not working carefully, they are not working actively. Then the client-centered stage came in. Then employee work stage were focused, and then company as a client stage. Let us see the models of workplace counseling. Hughes and Kinder, given in 2007, in-house service. Organizational employs a counselor or hires a one on contract. So this is also very good model. Like most of the big organizations, they hire counselor to understand their needs of the employee, to manage their stress or mental health issues or addiction of their employees. Uh, Most of the educational institutes like IIT, etc., they have also hiring a counselor for the student and staff for mental health. Then, so either they are having on a permanent role or they work as a contract basis. Then external provision like employee assistance program it may also work in a workplace counseling. Then hybrid internal and external services like they have the counselor but they sometimes call other counselors also. Sometimes they outsource. So like there is agency which are having mental health professionals, counselors, everyone, and the company they do not have counselor. They just send their staffs who are having problems, or they call the agency to sensitize the staff, to work with the staff to solve the problem of the staff. So that can be. Then there are public sectors where counselors may be there. Then contracting with local counselors for small and medium enterprises. So as and when there is a need, they call the counselor. Carol has given counseling orientation models. So it is basically brief therapy models and problem focused model. So like they have given acronyms. D for develop the relationship, identify and clarify. A for ask the problem and redefine in skill terms. S for state working goals and plan interventions. And I for intervene to develop self-helping skills. E for end and consolidate self-helping skills. So, like develop the relationship, identify and clarify. So this is very important. Uh, Counselor has to develop the relationship, and remember this relationship is professional relationship. Then identify the problem and clarify it. Or if there is any issue, it must be identified and clarified. Then assess the problems and redefine in skill terms. Okay. For example, any problem is there in the organization, so the counselor has to assess it and then redefine it, reframe it in a skill terms. Okay, what skills are required to solve these problems? Then state working goals and plan interventions. So, like the goals should be set and interventions will be planned. Then intervene to develop self-helping skills. So this is also very important. Self-helping skills means the employee should be taught about the various skills which help them uh, in solving the problem. And then end and consolidate self-helping skill. Then end the session and consolidate all self-helping skills and get views from the employee about those skills. Then work oriented models there, then manage based models are there, then welfare based models are there, organizational change models are there. So Carol also talked about this is 1996. So work oriented model means the main focus of on the employees for work, so to get maximum work done from the employee. Then manage waste. So how to manage the things? So management, basically management is more more dominant in the organization than welfare-based model, where the welfare of the staff is the main focus, and then organizational change models may be there. So it basically believes that organizational they get change. So there is always change in the organization. Let us see the purpose of workplace counseling. So the purpose of workplace counseling is to provide a safe and healthy work environment. So this is very important. If the environment is not healthy, if the workplace is not safe, the employee may feel safe and they may remain anxious. They may not work adequately. They may not be very supportive, and they may not feel good about that. They may not feel associated with the organization. So this is the important thing. Another one is to provide support to employees to deal with the major changes in work and non-work related areas of life. What happens if the organization is big or even in a small, due to changes in the global scenario, like in the world there are changes. Earlier, like the all railway tickets were manually prepared. Now it is from computer. After that, now online, anyone can take book the ticket from their mobile or laptop or system. So these are the changes. So employees must be taught about these changes and support during these changes, because any change create resistance in the employees. Any change in the organization create resistance. So this is the job of the counselor, to support the employees, to help them so they can adapt to the changes at workplace. And sometimes non-work related areas of life, like there are some changes in the family, like childbirth or death of the earning member or death of the parents. So all these things, uh, the employee should be provided support. Then reduce stress among employees. So, how a organizational counselor or industrial psychologist or the counselor who is working in industries can reduce the stress of employees. So he has to or she has to plan. Counselor has to plan certain sessions of relaxation, like meditation program, or some extracurricular activities, some extra organizational activities. For example, taking all the employees to picnic or some tour, so they will feel relaxed. So such type of activities can be planned by the counselor. Then to maintain work-life balance, because nowadays lots of work is there, everybody is overburdened, but the family life cannot be ignored. If family life is ignored, then it may cause stress, and family stress may reflected at workplace also. And same way, workplace stress is also reflected in family life. So the job of the counselor is to help the employees to maintain the work and life balance. And remember always, the job of the counselor is to always work for welfare of the employee. Though the counselor is getting salary from the employer, the counselor is getting salary from the organizations, but the counselor should always work for welfare of the employees, not the employer. So the counselor should not be part of the management. He is working for the betterment of the management. Though the counselor's job is not to harm the organization, because if the organization will grow, then only the employee will get more benefits. But when there is any conflict, the counselor's main work is to focus on the welfare of the employee. Because if employees are not very satisfied, that it may affect the productivity. Then reasons for opting workplace counseling. So health and well-being plan for the employees. And then, like, if there was a survey done, okay, why psychologists or counselors they choose the workplace counseling? So 67% said that they are concerned with the health and well-being plans for the employees, support to staff for specific issues, 48%, helps in reducing the sickness leave. Like most of the, if the organization is do not following, if the organization does not follow a healthy system, so what happens? Most of the employees they do not feel very comfortable, so they apply for medical leave or sickness leave, and though they are not sick. So, but they just want to avoid the work. So the counselors they think that if they work in this field, so the sickness leaves also reduces, and this is fact also. If there are counselors, so they work on these things and their problems are solved. So it will also improve the job satisfaction and it improves the productivity of the organization. So like this is the like 33% only they think that it improves the productivity, because they are not focusing on the productivity of the organization. They are basically helping for the well-being and the health of the employee, and they support them on certain specific issue. They help them not to take sickness leave, rather solve the problem. So setting up a workplace counseling in any organization. So there are 6 stages: preparation, assessment, contract, promotion, termination of counseling, and evaluation of workplace counseling. So what to be done? Preparation means the counselor prepare the setups, like there is a counseling room, and there must be some facility of assessment, like a stress assessment, assessment of depression, anxiety, workload, um, mood, etc. Then the contract with the organizations, like, and then there are some scope of promotion of certain things, then termination of counseling and evaluation of workplace counseling. how effective it was in the organization. There are certain challenges generally seen in workplace counseling, like being under the pressure to produce result. All counselors they feel lots of pressure in the organization to produce the result. Like if the staff's productivity is less, so they are feeling pressure how to improve specialty. So it is also very difficult. Sometimes the organization they give put lots of pressure on the counselor to disclose what are the issues there in the employee, justifying the cost of service. So since they are paid, so organizations sometimes ask why I should pay so much. There is no benefit. And dealing with isolation because in the organization everyone is having uh, work and they work in a group, whereas the counselor is alone and he cannot mingle with anyone because their function, job, educational background is totally different. Educating colleagues about the purpose and value of counseling. So it is very difficult for the workers, employee, or the organization. Justifying the cost of supervision, avoiding being overwhelmed by number of clients. So this is again a big problem. So many clients are referred. Sometimes employees are referred to the counselor. They are not working well. Their productivity is less. They are taking more leaves. They fight with others. They do not follow the organization's decorum, etc. So avoiding the threat to reputation caused by failures. So this is again counselors. Then coping with the envy of colleagues who are not able to take an hour for each client interview, creating an appropriate office space and a reception system. And there are lots of ethical dilemmas. Like they, basically they are the bridge between organization and employee. And so, but whatever information they gather from the employee, they work on those information for the betterment of the employee, so they can work happily. But most of those information are confidential. They cannot pass those information to the employer, to the organization. It is unethical. So, but there will be lots of pressure on the counselor to share those informations. And so there are lots of ethical dilemmas. So what is the future scope? So demand for workplace is increasing. So do the workplace counseling. So workplace, like there are lots of organizations are starting, lots of industries are setting up, lots of business are growing up. So that way the demand of the workplace counseling is also increasing, and in future there must be some an increasing surviving culture, the new diploma or short-term certificate in the field. So as of now there are no such structured program in this field, and so the program is required in psychology. As of now only there is one program for clinical psychologists which is very much structured, another program for diploma done by NCRT. So encouraging thrive culture by focusing on strength and well-being. So workplace in India, like healthy workplace program Arogya, Wipro IT firm based in Bangalore, like initiated emotional well-being program, MITR meaning friend, and then Mitra, a voluntary peer-led program with bottom-up approach, and by Arogya World, the MITR program was found to be economical and satisfactory for the volunteers. Thanks.